Well, hey friends, thanks for clicking on this video. And I kind of want to show you how I do things when I get a brand new bag of potassium nitrate, and I get mine from Outlaw X stores off of Amazon. Now they advertise this as being, I think, like 99.8% pure. They can't advertise it as being 100% pure because in the packaging process, little things fall into this. Let me get the camera off the tripod and I'll show you what I'm speaking about. So as you look through the bag, there's a little dark spot there. There's another one right there. You roll the bag over. There's a couple more in here. Rolling the bag over, you can see one right there at the end of my fingertip. There's some right here. Okay, so they can't advertise this as being 100% pure, but bear in mind what you're looking at is not potassium nitrate. That's just stuff that falls in during the packaging process. And if you look at the potassium nitrate right here, you can see that it's pretty fine. So in my opinion, these guys do a pretty good job in getting this product as refined as you can. Okay, yeah, there's another piece right there. So obviously in their packaging process, it's not the most clean environment. Well, first of all, I got to admit, it's not that big of a deal, okay? Just simply because when you weigh out 75 grams or whatever your formula is, you can just simply put it in a jar, and I've demonstrated this before on this channel, and you can go in there with a pair of tweezers and just do your best at picking that stuff out. Simply done. Or if you want to go the elaborate route, you can take out some of this, boil it in water, and do everything you want to do to get back to the pure crystal form. Let the crystals grow, bust them up, go through all of that. That's your choice. I choose not to do that. And honestly, in the grand scheme of things, those little specks of whatever they are, stuff that falls in during the packaging process, is not going to affect how your gunpowder performs. Okay? Just simply because black powder's dirty anyways, right? We all have to admit that. It's dirty. And even if you take all the time to, boil this down, get back to the pure crystals and go through all of that, make sure all your charcoal is perfectly clean and perfectly powdered. Your sulfur is to the best of the best, the purest of the purest, and you put all those three components together and you mill it for X number of hours. You load it up, put it into your black powder gun, and you shoot it. You're still going to get less than 45% efficiency. So for me, that's a lot of work for nothing, okay? For me, that's just not worth the time and effort to do all that for what is essentially 45% inefficient burning, okay? But what I do when I get a brand new bag like this, I will weigh out 76 grams. And I'll go through it and pick out the bigger pieces if there's any in there. And then I'll put it on a tray, spread it out, put it on the dashboard of my truck for several hours, and then re-weigh what that is so that I can have a sense of what the moisture content might be throughout the bag. But there again, I'm not overly anal about that neither, just simply because you can have all the driest of the driest potassium nitrate you want. But when all the three pieces of the three components are put together, do you not pump it with a little bit of water? Don't you re-moisten it back up? So why not just use the moisture that's in this and mill it? Okay, that's just how I do it. Someone else can choose to do it different, that's fine, but this is how I do it. And for me at least, this is how I try to maintain a sense of consistency. For instance, if you have, when you weigh out 75 grams and you put it on a tray, put it in your vehicle and it becomes completely dry, what if you end up at like 74.2 grams? Well, you've just shortchanged yourself a little bit of oxygen. That's one of the reasons why I do this, to see what it is, and then I stay above that. So like if I take this 76 grams, weigh it out and it ends up being 75.4, 75.6, then I know I'm still within that, you know, that margin of error, if you will. So anyhow, I think my scale is sufficiently warmed up, because I've had that sitting on the dashboard of my truck for about 20 minutes because it's 40 degrees in here, and I want to make sure that my scale is nice and warm when I weigh this out. I'll get it on the dashboard of my truck, and then in a few hours I'll come back, weigh what the difference is, and then turn the camera back on and let you all know. Okay, it's been 3.5 hours. I know if I look a little scruffy, it's because I've been making some charcoal out of aspen. I was looking at my numbers here a couple days ago and realized I've only got 2 sets of numbers with aspen, and it seems like aspen worked better blended with something else. So I've made some more aspen charcoal, and I'm going to be testing that here soon. But anyhow, 3.5 hours later, it's all in the pan. I'm going to try to get it down to one corner and trying to get everything off the bottom of the pan as much as I can. If I don't get every little tiny speck, we'll still have some sort of idea of what the weight loss is. Zero this out. A little bit fell out to the side here. 75.6. And that's why my formula is 76, 15, 11. Okay, but in reality, after drying for 3.5 hours, it's actually 75.6. That's why I rounded up. And that should give us more than enough of an idea how much moisture is in the potassium nitrate when you get it. I know somebody probably is going to, well, that's not real scientific. Well, I don't really care. It's good enough for me. That's all that matters. And then once again, you know, when I get it out of the bag, put 76 grams, then I'll roll it around a little bit and pick out whatever little contaminants that I care to take out, if I care to take out. As I said earlier in the video, it's not really worth our time and effort to take out those little tiny chunks. So anyhow, I hope this gives you some sort of baseline to work with, and I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up and share it with your bestest of buds, especially if they're making their own homemade black powder. Bye.